I warned a certain content creator 2 years ago about why it's irresponsible to take a Betterhelp sponsorship. I'm seeing posts about this pop up, and I'm sorry to the people defending him in the comments, hoping maybe he will know. But Betterhelp has had multiple scandals involving the quality of their therapists, data breaches, etc. Not to mention they supported genocide. No, brother. Are they saying that people sought therapy, expressed their feelings to BetterHelp, and talked about their interests or something, and then they gave that data to Snapchat so they could push ads on them? That is scummy, if that's real. It seems like it's real if they find them $8 million. That's crazy. You guys know Ted Nevison got... Have you guys seen that? I'm pretty sure it's Ted Nevison anyway. Ted Nevison girlfriend. Yeah, not that girl. Hold on. This girl. I'm pretty sure she's calling him out on Twitter right now. This is the Twitter Shaylin, followed by iDubbbz. This is her, right? That's definitely her. Unless this is like a fake account, but it's got 7,500 followers, so I assume this is her, right? So Ted Nevison is one of these dudes that he makes like funny video essays. They're kind of good. I didn't actually watch this much of that one, so I don't know why it's saying I did. I don't watch videos about Barbie. I'm a real man. But he makes like pretty typical commentary videos you see from like, I don't know, Drew Gooden or something, or Eddie Burback, right?
That's some cap.
Okay.
Okay, so TikTok live streams have gotten worse, I think. About a year ago, I made a video on the wacky world of TikTok live streams and what various grimblies and creatures roam within its musk.
And he also does a podcast you guys probably recognize called Chuckle Sandwich with Jay Schlatt. It's got 1 million subs, pretty big podcast. They get pretty good views. Doing pretty good. Hundreds of thousands of views on every single podcast. That's pretty good. Good voice. Yeah, he has a very interesting voice. It sounds like he's got peanut butter in his throat.
Should I show the outfit today? Do you want to see the outfit today?
No, that bit is old.
All right, I'll show it. Ooh. What's this? White pants this
I'm not even engaging with you this time, man.
He kind of reminds me of that giant Jewish actor, Ron Perlman. You guys know Ron Perlman? He was in Drive and he was Hellboy too. Yeah, this Ron Perlman aggressively confronts videographer after being spotted in a wheelchair. This guy.
But we did get a Hellboy that I enjoyed with David Harbour. Did you guys see the film? Did you guys enjoy the most recent Hellboy film? What were some?
I did see it. I wanted to know.
Ron, you did not see it.
I'm a blank slate. Okay. and that's probably a good, yeah. I saw it. I can still.
He reminds me of it's like Jake the Giant Jew type thing, you know? Is Ted Nevison Jewish? I'm not trying to be anti-Semitic or whatever. I just feel like he would be a giant Jew. He's 5 foot. There's no way he's 5'8". There's absolutely no way he's 5'8", dude. He's got to be like 6'3". Come on. How tall is Ted Nevison? There's no way he's normal size. 6'3". Yeah, that would make sense. There's no way he's 5'8", dude. Come on. That's like getting in Turkey Tom territory, okay? He would be shorter than me if he was 5'8". There's no way. Well, anyway, this girl named Shay is calling him out, who I believe dated him for a while. She's been tweeting about him a lot. I don't know what her problem is. If you're an abuser who also hasn't taken accountability for your own actions and you're sending condolences to victims that have come forward with their stories to look like a good guy, absolutely you. Absolutely you. She's going a little crazy. I once dated a guy who point blank told me, my mom says I'm emotionally intelligent. Now you guys just aren't going to believe this, but spoiler alert, he was not even a little bit. In fact, he was actually emotionally abusive. So yeah. Now I don't know if this one's about Ted specifically, but she's been tweeting things like this, which I would guess are definitely about Ted if I had to guess. As someone who knows all too well the stark contrast between the image a creator projects online and who they really are behind closed doors, still processing the trauma from that, yay. The trauma, bro. Everyone's experiencing trauma these days. Please, please, please stop idolizing creators. You know what they chose to show you. That's not to say I haven't met many creators who I believe to be kind people, but after speaking with so many women in the space and sharing unique stories with eerily similar underlying themes, you can't say with 100% certainty he would never do that, because they do. Well, what did he do? Why the constant vague posting? I warned a certain content creator 2 years ago about why it's irresponsible to take a Betterhelp sponsorship. I'm seeing posts about this pop up, and I'm sorry to the people defending him in the comments, hoping maybe he will know. Maybe he didn't know. He knows. He's been fully aware for years, and yet goes without saying, but do not use Betterhelp. I know mental health services are not easily accessible as they should be, but Betterhelp has had multiple scandals involving the quality of their therapists, data breaches, etc. Not to mention they supported genocide. Oh, brother. They support a genocide. How? Do they offer treatment to Israel? BetterHelp Israel. Let's look it up. Israel offered free therapy with BetterHelp. Okay, so it's this. Israel criticized a brand collab with BetterHelp. Is Israel a brand? This is an actual tweet from the nation of Israel. Man criticizes Israel's collab with BetterHelp amid conflict between Palestine and Israel. Is BetterHelp really that bad? Can anyone outline to me how BetterHelp is? Because I remember the controversy from them years ago, but I can't remember them being like horrible. I think it was like there were a few cases where their online bot or whatever wasn't working, and it was like people were like, I'm idle, and then BetterHelp was like not responding to them with a chat bot soon enough or something. Yes, it is bad. What is it bad for? BetterHelp was terrible. Is there a good video about this I can watch? It's not real therapy. Well, if it's online, maybe not, but don't they give you like an online therapist at some point? Like you can have calls with them or something? Sensitive Society did a video. Okay, I feel like this is a very complicated issue. Maybe a Sensitive Society video isn't going to be. Okay, he made a video about it. This company makes me sick. YouTube's worst sponsorship is back. Yeah, I remember the sponsorship years ago was like a controversy, and I think Memology 101 was the guy who kicked it off, wasn't it him? I think it was Memology 101 who started the BetterHelp scandal, but I think his original channel is deleted or something too. Why YouTubers are depressed, the legitimacy of BetterHelp. Philip DeFranco's BetterHelp debacle. It's not at all like therapy in person. Gotcha. Well, let's watch the Sensitive Society video.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Visit betterhelp.com/Padilla because sometimes existing is exhausting.
More than my subscribers, you're my friends. Let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you, all from the comfort of your own home. Visit betterhelp.com/Jack or choose Jack's Films during sign-up and enjoy a special discount.
To be clear, whatever my opinion is here, I've never had a therapist. I don't honestly feel like I need a therapist, so whatever my opinion is on this is going to be slightly tainted by the fact that I have never had therapy. I do know people who have said that therapy greatly benefited them and they enjoyed it, but yeah. Where's the other Smosh? Ian Hecox is still around. I think he works on the Smosh channel. Didn't they say they were coming back? They admitted they were all unlicensed therapists. Did they do that? Is that true? Who said that?
There's a few reasons why I'm making this video on BetterHelp. One of them is that there's a few YouTubers talking about it, and I am intrigued by that, and I think it's important to talk about stuff like this. The second reason, and this was really the inspiration behind this video, this morning I woke up, I go on IG, and if you don't follow me on Instagram yet, please do. Link in the description. Thank you. And I'm catching up on the stories of the people that I'm following. I'm watching.
Why does bro sound autistic? He's just Mexican.
Some reels, and over the last 3 to 4 days, I've seen more and more BetterHelp ads, and this is one that I took from this morning. You can see the time, 11:14, and BetterHelp already doesn't have the best reputation. We all know their extremely shady past, and even the new stuff they're...
What is their extremely shady past, though? Why isn't that explained here? What's the best video about their shady past? Because, I mean, no offense to Memology, but he doesn't usually go in depth with this. Rewired Soul. Okay, I'm gonna look up BetterHelp Expose. Bro said we all know. Yeah, I don't know. I remember this controversy, but I don't really remember what even went down with it. YouTubers need to stop promoting BetterHelp. The Cavernical. Isn't this guy like Cabos' brother or something? Why do I remember this guy?
They're doing, which is borderline illegal, and that's the reason why they got fined over $7 million. But we're gonna get into that. And I don't...
They got fined $7 million? BetterHelp fined $7 million. FTC gives final approval to order banning BetterHelp from sharing sensitive health data for advertising, requiring it to pay $7.8 million. The FTC alleges online counseling service shared customers' sensitive data with third parties after promising to keep it private. They finalized an order requiring online counseling service BetterHelp to pay $8 million and prohibiting it from sharing consumers' health data for advertising, resolving allegation the firm shared customers' sensitive health data with third parties such as Facebook and Snapchat for advertising, after promising to keep such data private. In an action first announced in March, the FTC charged BetterHelp use and disclose consumers' email addresses, IP addresses, and health questionnaire information to Facebook, Snapchat, Criteo, and Pinterest for advertising purposes, despite promising consumers that it would only use or disclose personal data for limited purposes. So are they saying that people sought therapy, expressed their feelings to BetterHelp, and talked about their interests or something, and then they gave that data to Snapchat so they could push ads on them? That is scummy, if that's real. It seems like it's real if they fine them $8 million. That's crazy. They just use cookies? Is that it? Or were they like disclosing? I guess we'll get into this. That's dystopian. It sounds dystopian. The $7.8 million that BetterHelp is paying as part of the order will be used to provide partial refunds to customers. In addition to the prohibition on disclosing health data for advertising, the order, among other things, also bans BetterHelp from sharing consumers' personal information for retargeting. It also requires a company to obtain affirmative express consent before disclosing personal information to certain third parties for any purpose, put in place a comprehensive privacy program that includes strong safeguards to protect consumer data, detect third parties to delete the consumer health and other personal data that BetterHelp shared with them, and limit how long it can retain personal information, health information, according to a data retention schedule. After reviewing 123 comments received in this matter, the commission voted 3-0 to finalize the complaint order and send responses to their... Just a little data maxing. I mean, seems pretty if they did that. Was it just general data like age, sex, and location to give personalized ads? If it was that, probably wouldn't care because every company does that. I mean, that's another problem. We can talk about personalized ads in general. But if the therapy is free, what else is their business model? Well, I think it's free for a certain amount of time, but then they start charging you or something is the way it works.
I don't want to come across as a hypocrite. I've taken sponsorships before, never from BetterHelp. I just want to put it out there. And I don't have a problem with people taking sponsorships. I think if you can make money doing what you love, and on top of that, people want to pay you to promote a video game or a product or whatever, as long as you're not harming anyone or scamming your fans, go ahead, go crazy, you know, collect your bag. And the thing is, I draw the line at certain stuff. BetterHelp is the point that I don't want to cross, and especially when it's something as important as your mental health. Your mental health is as important as your physical health. We all gotta go through therapy sometimes, and that's completely fine. On top of it being expensive, we're gonna get into that. It's just a weird company with very shady practices. Just wanted to throw my 2 cents in. And I'm not saying that BetterHelp...
How expensive is BetterHelp? $65 to $90 per week. I mean, if you want to pay for that, I guess that's your prerogative. How expensive is typical therapy? Isn't that like $200 a session or something? Okay, so this is from Maine, where I live. Average cost of individual therapy in Maine is $100 to $200 a session, which I live in a relatively high income area, so I would assume it could be lower other places, but a week? Yeah. I can't afford that. Weed is cheaper and better anyways. Yeah, great plan, bro. Just shove all the emotions down and cover it all in that stinky green, bro. That's really gonna help you out.
Has never helped anyone in their entire lives. I'm sure some people have been helped, and that's awesome, which the idea is good. Don't get me wrong. Therapy...
They shared and sold user data. Well, that's very if they did that.
Online from the comfort of your home. It sounds good in theory, but in practice, and once again, with the stuff they're doing behind the scenes, what are you doing? You had a good thing going for you, but greed just completely took over and, you know, they fumbled it. So let's start with the obvious one, pricing. I put myself in the position of a teenager, of a young adult, someone between 16 to 19, 20-ish, where they don't have a lot of money, so they don't really have that much money to burn. And it says the cost of therapy through BetterHelp ranges between 85 Canadian to 110 Canadian, which is around $66. So that's just a good halfway point between 85 to 110. But if you want to go to 110, that's around $80. Definitely on the pricier side of therapy. Like, I know people in Canada that, you know,
is that on the pricier side of therapy?
They've gone to therapy and it's like $90, $100. It's not that more expensive than real.
Well, that's Canada. Wait, is that expensive for therapy though? Is $100 a session expensive for therapy? I thought it was typical to be pretty. I mean, I guess I looked it up and it said 100 to 200. Average before insurance is 100. So with insurance, does insurance pay for therapy? I would assume they pay for a lot of it. Health insurance typically covers therapist visits and group therapy. The level of coverage is 10 based on your provider. Most health insurance plans cover therapy and counseling depends on your particular plan. If you have a diagnosed medical condition, typically covers therapist visits and group therapy. Okay, I guess it varies. For like an hour, yeah, I would imagine they'd probably cover because their typical therapist session is like an hour a week, right? My therapy with insurance is 30 per session. Okay. I was 25 each session. Is Canada even real? No, it's not. It's not just about the coverage. Also, the therapist can suck. Well, that's a bigger issue, but I mean, it's up to you if you want to pay for the service, right? That's kind of your prerogative.
In-person therapy, so it's like, what are the benefits here? You know what I mean? If anything, this is
the problem is like if the advertising is misleading, I guess.
Opinion, all right, but I think this is more harmful because going to physical therapy, you gotta get there, you gotta get in your car, but you physically need to leave your house, which is good, right? If you're depressed, if you're sad, you know, putting on some bangers, driving, you might stop at the supermarket, get a few snacks. You know what I mean? It makes you want to leave your environment, your room, your house, whatever. And with BetterHelp, not only is it more expensive than traditional therapy.
I mean, I agree that's good for you, but I mean, some people just don't have the time or something. If you're on a busy schedule, you'd rather get therapy at whatever time you need and schedule it on your terms instead of relying on the therapist. I mean, having therapy at convenience is probably pretty beneficial for some people, right? That seems like one obvious benefit of BetterHelp. I don't know if the therapy is going to be as good as an in-person therapist. It's probably not, if I had to guess. This is not based on any data. This is just my intuitive genius mental level brain, okay? But realistically, like, there are basic benefits, I guess, of the service, if you want to talk about it that way.
It's also, in a way, kind of keeping you inside. And I don't want to go full conspiracy mode and be like, well, they're trying to trap you, so now you signed up for the yearly plan and now you're going broke. And you know what I mean? I'm not trying to get into that. But, you know, getting out the house is always good. Like I said, I'm not saying that BetterHelp has never helped anyone. I'm looking at the BetterHelp reviews. Courtney is a compassionate and realistic therapist. She also helps me
That's your therapist, bro? You should need some therapy of her own, maybe.
think about things in a worldly manner and remember that I need to respect myself. I enjoy therapy with her so much, and I would recommend her
Why's she making that face? She looks like she smelled something really bad.
to anyone. Review written after
She
working
looks like she just smelled your. She looks like you just walked in the therapy room and pulled down your pants and took a giant on the floor and smeared it in the rug with your bare feet.
with Courtney for 4 months. So that's always good to hear. Here we have another one.
This is my therapist. I'm gonna kill myself. Yeah, dude.
Wonderful therapist. She is so attentive, listening to all my needs and concerns and providing
Betty Cousins.
solutions that work well. Review written after working with Betty after 1 year and 10
Why do they all look like?
issues.
They're not even trying to
And you might be
smile.
thinking, whoa, this is kind of a positive video for once. What, you know, what's the issue with BetterHelp? Well, I think it's better if I show you the video that's going kind of viral right now that pretty much kickstarted all of this movement. I like my
Considering they had unlicensed therapists was probably bad for the money you're spending. Okay. BetterHelp unlicensed therapists. Is there news? This is from 2018 Polygon article. Okay. The company describes BetterHelp as the largest online counseling program worldwide, geared toward helping people dealing with issues such as stress, anxiety, relationships, parenting, depression, addictions, eating, sleeping, trauma, anger, family conflicts, LGBT matters, grief, religion, or self-esteem. The company's FAQ section on its website clearly states BetterHelp's app and counselors shouldn't be used for people dealing with a severe mental illness, like schizophrenia or bipolar, or for people considering self-harm. Instead, the app prides itself on having licensed therapists and mental health experts available to help people via text, phone call, or video chat. That's what many YouTubers who have accepted sponsorships from the company often say in their own videos, where they speak on the stresses in their personal lives and feelings bordering on anxiety or depression. Bobby Burns, Elle Mills, Philip DeFranco, Heath Hussar, Boogie2998, Shane Dawson, and Chandler N. Wilson are all creators who have videos sponsored by BetterHelp. Many of these creators have spoken about mental health issues in the past, but as burnout becomes a bigger topic within the community and mainstream world, sponsorships involving BetterHelp have increased despite the app not being what the creators are touting. Okay. The issues with BetterHelp. Getting into the nitty gritty here, okay? We're going to get the actual info on BetterHelp and why it's evil or something. We can find out why Shay decided to call out. I assume this is about Ted Nivision. Did he take a BetterHelp sponsorship? Did Jake the Giant Jew do a BetterHelp sponsorship?
Confused, shocked.
Oh, it's right here. Okay. March 2nd is when this was. And she tweeted this on March 19th. So maybe it's not about him. But maybe it is. Where is the sponsorship, actually? Nobody in the comments seems upset about it. BetterHelp. Here we go.
So we now know that there are intelligent, speaking, and sentient animals in Barbie's canon universe, which is a little bit weird. That's pretty much all we know so far, so let's keep going. Before we continue on, though, this video is sponsored by BetterHelp. As I've mentioned in the past, I have ADHD. And since I have a job that requires a lot of
I have ADHD. What was this other tweet she made? Sorry, but this is too ironic not to post. This man woke up one morning and unprompted told me, I don't think you have ADHD because you have an easier time getting started on tasks than me when I was struggling with mental health and trying to pinpoint a potential cause. Advocate my... Like, sir, I work in corporate America and have a boss to answer to. If I don't complete my tasks, I get fired and don't eat. Okay. Why isn't she naming him, first of all? And secondly, vague tweeting about a relationship when... I mean, unless she makes a new allegation where she's like, he, me... I feel like why out private details from the relationship? Even about the sponsor. Like, it's not your responsibility to deal with this. You dated him for years. You're not his mom. Even if you were his mom, who cares? Make a video or something. I don't know.
It can sometimes be a way to my own personal mental health. I know I'm a YouTuber, okay? But I also get overwhelmed every now and then. And even though I've been kind of living as me my whole life and I know how my brain works, there's still room to grow in there. Oftentimes it's helpful to speak to a therapist if you don't have the right tools to deal with the struggles you go through just kind of living life. And sometimes you might not have the network or feel comfortable talking with friends and family about what you might be dealing with. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. First, you go to their site using my link at betterhelp.com/TedNivision. You answer a few questions and BetterHelp will match you to a professional who has years of experience helping people with struggles like yours. You can do it all from your phone or computer, via phone call, video chat, messaging, however you feel most comfortable. It's the easiest possible way to start talking to a therapist. You'll be matched with a therapist usually within 48 hours, so you can get started fast. Visit betterhelp.com/TedNivision or choose my name during sign up and you'll get a special discount on your first month. Thanks to BetterHelp for sponsoring, and let's get back to the video.
These people that share details without exact names just want the clout without any accountability. Some of it is clout, but the bigger thing for women is women need to be heard. Women need to scream their emotions at the son, and they need everyone to hear it and validate them. They need that. They just do. And to an extent, that's a very human thing in general, because people, when they have an emotion that they want to express, you know, they like to have it heard. You know, it's a very human thing. It's hard to blame them for, you know. It's nice when you're a human to reach out and feel flesh gripping yours and feel like there's someone else in this with you that can express your emotions. I will say, tweeting about your like ex-boyfriend, about your problems with them when you're on like on a public Twitter account is so cringe. Like just talk to your friends. Why do you need to tweet about it, dude? Why do you feel the need to tweet about it? I don't understand. YouTube's business model allows for a transparency over demonetization issues. Sponsorships like ones involving BetterHelp are an understood aspect of the business. But in ad reads for the app, YouTube creators describe a product that more and more people are expressing concerns over. Chandler N. Wilson told his viewers the app was full of psychologists who could help people going through a tough time. Gabby Hanna used the word professional to talk about the mental health experts available to talk to people. The company's terms of service tell a different story. The terms of service explicitly state the company can't guarantee a professional or even licensed professionals. Uh-oh. We do not control the quality of the counselor's services, and we do not determine whether any counselor is qualified to provide any specific service, as well as whether a counselor is categorized correctly or matched to you. Well, in that case, it feels like it's a problem with BetterHelp's advertising department. The advertising department needs to do a better job of telling YouTubers what they can and cannot say and catering what they say rather than letting them spew off bullshit. The terms of service also acknowledge that the full responsibility of authenticating the person on the other end of the phone falls on the individual who signed up for the app. While we may try to do so from time to time in our sole discretion, you acknowledge that we do not represent to verify and do not guarantee the verification of the skills, degrees, qualifications, licensure, certification, credentials, competence, or background of any counselor. It is your responsibility to conduct independent verification regarding any counselor that provides you with counselor services, whether through the platform or not, and we strongly recommend that you will conduct this verification prior to communicating with any counselor through the platform on a continuous basis as you use the platform. Well, in that case, I feel like their service is kind of... None of this information appears in videos that are sponsored by the app. Since then, BetterHelp founder and CEO Alan Matas has taken to Reddit to defend BetterHelp's name from concerned YouTube fans and numerous customers who have reported terrible experiences. YouTuber Destroma even uploaded a 7-minute video detailing her horrible experience with BetterHelp, but added that she shouldn't speak to the experience of others. I couldn't in good conscience after doing the trial recommend it to you guys. There's nothing I can say other than there's no way in hell I could recommend them to you guys. Why is that video removed? Who is Destroma? This is from 2018. Who is Destroma? Why can't I find this person's video? Who is Destroma? Destroma YouTuber. Where are the 10 schizophrenia channels to follow in 2024? Who is Destroma? Who the is Destroma? Destroma schizophrenia. In fairness, I mean, they did say that they don't treat schizophrenics, but who is Destroma? Because I just can't know. Did they get like exposed and leave the internet? Now, in wake of concerns raised by YouTube creators like Memology 101, who produced a 9-part series on the BetterHelp controversy, Matas is going on the offense. I don't have any response to the video because it's plainly bizarre. You're welcome to go to our provider directory and see the credentials and licensing information of each one of our providers. If you find a single counselor who's currently active on the platform but isn't a qualified professional, I will personally donate $500 to a charity of your choice. I respect everyone's opinion and happy to truly listen and learn. This is the opposite from PR. So this is an old Philip DeFranco video about this? Or is he sponsored by them?
Sup, you beautiful bastards?
Man, this is an old video. So it looks like this is just sponsored by BetterHelp. Phil DeFranco, BetterHelp. Or the creator's not allowed to talk about it because of like a non-disparagement agreement or something. Looks like he was just sponsored by them. PewDiePie video. BetterHelp turns out to be even worse than what I thought. Okay.
Show news segment.
Classic PewDiePie. The golden era. Holy. I'll actually enjoy watching something on the stream for once. Pew News.
Good evening. I'm Poppy Harlow, here for your special news.
Oh my god. I'm getting flashbacks. Poppy Gloria, Poppy Harlow. Dude, I'm getting flashbacks to 20... What is this? 19? 18? Damn.
Segment. Any YouTuber mentioned in this video is just for context. I am not...
Remember SourceFed? Yeah, SourceFed was like the weird project that Phil DeFranco had that got shut down in like 2018 that everybody cried about, but I don't even remember why it was good and I never watched it.
Dragging these people. It's just for context. Full disclaimer, guys. What am I talking about? Well, of course, BetterHelp. You've already heard about it from your favorite YouTuber.
BetterHelp.
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 View BetterHelp.
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 BetterHelp. BetterHelp.
You guys remember Bobby Burns? We just saw him. He was mentioned in the article too. You guys probably remember Bobby Burns. He was a guy who made like the I hate Shane Dawson video. Remember that? Shane Dawson's 100% innocent. Is this the video? Yeah, is this the one? What's the like one video he made that he hated? And then he did a bunch of collabs with Shane, and then he fell off, and I think now he does like OnlyFans or something. I'm drunk as fucking watching Felix definitely brings you back in a bad way, like returning to Vietnam. Yeah, for real.
The biggest artists of our generation, with over 50 million monthly listeners every month on Spotify. Billy creates all of her music with her brother Phineas, and they...
He seems schizophrenic in that. He's like he's got a problem. Bobby Burns, Shane Dawson. I'm kind of getting off topic here. You gonna cover what happened with Ruby Frank? I already covered it, and she is going to jail. Confronting my hater in person. Is it this video?
Guys, today's video has been made possible by our beautiful, incredible, fantastic YouTube, and has
Hate. Let's see.
always created whatever content people wanted to see. His channel...
Not this video. Is it this one?
Today, I am going to be
Shane's video.
genuinely watching and responding to a hate video by a YouTuber.
manipulating people and making terrible,
Oh, it was terrible. It wasn't hate. It was terrible, terrible, terrible.
terrible content.
I mean, I think we could all agree that your content isn't terrible. You put more effort than most into your content.
Well, feel free to tell him that when he shows up at our door in an hour.
You invited this man to your house. Are you crazy, Shane?
This is a crazy saga. And Shane Dawson, he got his own little cancellation or whatever, and he now is, oh, he's actually posting again. 3 million views. But he has this other channel where he does like a podcast. Is it on the Shane 2 channel he does it? Yeah, this is, he does like a podcast with like his mom and all these weirdos.
So different colors. And listen, I'll get to the technical.
Can you imagine they're watching together? He's like, 5 kids. That sounds like her.
You just made it unsafe for a lot of women to watch this with their husbands.
Whoa.
Well, speaking of viewer,
the Soy Council will decide your fate over here. DeFranco, one of the biggest creators on the platform, issued a 3-part statement. I've been made aware that there are people calling out one of our sponsors, Betterhelp, a scam because of what has been highlighted as concerning wording in their TOS. I reached out to Betterhelp's founder for a statement to hopefully clear up the matter. DeFranco tweeted, including a screenshot of his response that can be seen below. Additionally, they've acknowledged people to go to betterhelp.com/counselors to scrub through their counselors and check their credentials, which are listed on their profile pages. Now, all of that said, on a personal note, they've invited me to their office to see and understand their team's full process and procedures in person. And even though I trust and believe them, until I do that and they reword their TOS, which they say they will, I'll be putting BH sponsor spots on a temp hold. DeFranco is one of the more outspoken creators, but his sentiments are echoed within the community. Boogie298 said that although he used BetterHelp for 2 months before being sponsored by the company and found it helpful, he was going to take away from sponsorships for the time being. I recommend it to viewers after that and continued to use it. Now that some people think it's shady, I'll gladly back off until it's proven otherwise. Interesting.
Help. BetterHelp. BetterHelp.
BetterHelp.
BetterHelp.
BetterHelp.
There is a list of over 100 YouTubers who have promoted this website. It's been all over Reddit. My own subreddit, I always see these ads. Try online therapy. Try online therapy, and you too can grow a magnificent beard, just like...
Is Aunt Venom invited to the Soycast? He's the president of the Soycast, actually.
This guy. Well, what is BetterHelp? Well, it's been marketed as cheap, affordable, and private online therapy. With a professional. That's right. Hooray, professional. I discussed BetterHelp in a previous video where I first heard about it, and I was cautious about calling it a scam because I've seen not just YouTubers, but actual therapists shilling this service.
Actually really believe it.
You're a sociopath. By the way, this video is sponsored by online therapy. So what's wrong with BetterHelp then? You can have online therapy without leaving your house. You can have therapy at home. That's great. That sounds almost too good to be true. Well, yes, because it is. With BetterHelp, they have attempted to mass produce therapy. They pride on...
What's your opinion on Fent? Certainly better than BetterHelp.
Having 4 million users. And they've gathered this many users by saying this. If you sign up for BetterHelp, you'll pay only $65. Whereas if you go to an actual therapist and meet face to face, you'll be paying $250. So look.
Does insurance cover BetterHelp? Does insurance cover BetterHelp? BetterHelp cannot submit claims to Medicare, Medicaid, or any health insurance plan. It's not covered by insurance. Okay, so no.
Look how much money you are saving by using BetterHelp instead of face-to-face therapy. However, in their own terms of service, they acknowledge that if you are using this site, it is not a complete substitute for face-to-face examination and for a session by a licensed qualified.
I feel like that should definitely be in the ads for these YouTubers. Like you should say like, hey, I'm recommending BetterHelp. They're paying me to do this video, the sponsorship or whatever. However, it's not a replacement for face-to-face examination And you also need to vet the therapist in question before you use them. I mean, I feel like that would be fine to say, right? Maybe BetterHelp wouldn't like that being in the sponsorship. Maybe they wouldn't let you do it. I don't really know. But I feel like that should definitely be in it, right?
So it's marketed as a cheap...
Can you recreate the I'm gooning clip? Only if I start gooning.
...cheaper substitute for therapy, when in reality, it's a luxury. It's an addition to therapy. Look how much money you are saving by not going to therapy. Also, by the way, you need to go to therapy. When you subscribe to BetterHelp, let's say you pick the most popular one, $65 per week, but you are billed monthly. So when the 7-day trial runs out, you're immediately billed $260. So let's say you sign up for BetterHelp for a 7-day free trial. As soon as that trial ends, you are charged immediately with the full price of a month, $260. And even if you immediately cancel, you are still charged the full amount for a month that you will not use. And there's a lot of reviews that reinforce this. BetterHelp says...
I mean, in fairness, that part is kind of just on you. If you sign up for a subscription that tells you, hey, you're going to get charged after a month if you don't cancel. And then they don't cancel, like that's kind of the user's fault, right? The other criticism that Felix is giving them is actually pretty good. Like, not a substitute for real therapy. YouTubers should disclose that. Like, that's pretty true, but it's like every service does this. If you sign up for Netflix for the free trial, like, and then you forget about it and they charge you, like, that's just what they do. Like, just set a reminder on your phone for get rid of my subscription, take out my card info, cancel it.
How long will I use his service? Just as long as you need it. You can cancel the subscription of the service at any time. We'll just charge you for the full month anyway. Now, I've seen comments saying that if you contact them, they will pay you back. So if you lost money signing up for this, please do reach out. BetterHelp also says that we'll find you an online therapist. You just do this quick questionnaire and we'll find the right person for you. But in their terms of service, they also say, we cannot assess whether the use of the counselor is right and suitable for your needs. So what do? They don't take accountability for anything. You can find a therapist that does phone calls or texting by yourself. BetterHelp says themselves that they give no warranty for their willingness to give advice. They make no warranty whether what they say is even relevant, useful, correct, relevant again, satisfactory, or suitable to your needs.
So basically what BetterHelp actually is, I mean, they claim they don't even, the CEO back then in that Phil DeFranco statement was like, well, if you have a problem with our therapist, then you can personally let me know and I'll donate $500 to a charity of your choice if you find some kind of, therapy scammer, right? But apparently in the terms of service, which the Polygon article pointed out, and Phil wanted them to change, they claim they don't actually verify the therapist themselves. You need to do your due diligence, right?
So they don't take responsibility for...
So really what they are is they just like are a website where if you're a therapist or a not real therapist, you can go sign up, I guess. And then if you want therapy online that's not a substitute for real therapy, then you can go use the service. It seems like just kind of a service. I don't know.
For anything.
I guess I do know it seems like not a very good service.
Convenient. On review sites, it says that BetterHelp is 69% positive and 21% negative. So if someone says BetterHelp really worked for me, that's because they had a good therapist, not because BetterHelp provide a good service.
Yeah, true.
Because they don't take accountability for any of their counselors, which then leads to a lot of people having bad experiences. They say themselves that they don't diagnose. The platform is not intended for diagnosis. But then you have really questionable videos of YouTubers saying,
I suffer with binge eating, which I do want to talk to you guys about because I was officially diagnosed with binge eating disorder by my therapist.
I was officially diagnosed by their therapist. Okay, who diagnosed you?
If you guys have ever heard of Betterhelp.com.
Oh, really? So you were officially diagnosed by a therapist. Therapists should not diagnose you, by the way. And BetterHelp themselves say that, but still, apparently, it happens.
I never actually received any therapy. We just kept setting appointments and he just kept missing them and not giving me any warning or any real reason and was really unprofessional in his messages.
I feel like if you're a company like this, BetterHelp is dealing with as important and pressing of a service as mental health, then you have to be able to verify the therapist. And if you can't, you need to downscale your business so that you actually can. And you need to have like a limit on how many people you can take on, right? Because basically the business model, the way it's set up is like to get the most amount of people possible on the website, to get the most amount of therapists possible on the website. But then the problem becomes basically that these therapists are not necessarily verified. And then people like this apparently are not getting the therapy they need, right? And then the problem on the YouTuber's end is like they're not being given the proper information to represent the company, or they're, you know, outright lying. Maybe it's their fault, right? I mean, you can blame either party, right? Maybe it's the YouTuber's fault for not doing the due diligence of researching this company they're being sponsored by. You can say it's BetterHelp's marketing department for not properly communicating everything about the website and being clear about it to get more people in the door. But it seems to me like it's kind of a silly service.
So I'm seeing BetterHelp everywhere, and I'm getting flashbacks.
Obviously, if you meet a therapist face to face, you can still have bad experiences. But if BetterHelp themselves doesn't take any accountability of finding you the right therapist or any accountability for the actions of their therapist, then what's the point? What do they do besides charging you? It just came to my attention that I missed a portion of the terms of service. This one is deeply concerning. And guess why I missed it? They deleted it just a few days ago. How convenient. This one says that they don't guarantee the verification of the skills, degrees, qualifications, certification, credentials, competence, or background of any counselor. With BetterHelp, you'll be talking to professionals. Just beware that it's your responsibility to determine whether they are or not.
Yeah, that's very silly. That's very silly. In fairness, in person, you should probably be vetting your counselor too. But there's probably less of a risk in person of them conning you or something, or not having the proper credentials like you think they do. Tom, you'll pick a side in a conflict 1,000 miles away. There's no effect on your life whatsoever. Yeah, I will. I'll really take into account that big conflict when I'm eating my chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A.
It's your responsibility to determine whether they have any degree or qualification or...
Chick-fil-A is anti-LGBT, but goddamn, their chicken is good. Imagine how many gay people have been helped by getting to enjoy a chicken sandwich after their orgy.
Certification
or their, you know, consensual interaction with their boyfriend.
All these things. What does BetterHelp do besides selling you a product that doesn't exist, that they don't sell? A lot of reviews have spoken about this, saying that their counselors was really questionable with all kinds of crazy stories. And considering how little the actual therapist using BetterHelp gets paid, it's obvious that you're not going to get the best service. People even saying that they most likely just talk to another.
I've had 7 or 8 counselors. The first one didn't show up for a scheduled appointment. The second one left in the middle of an online chat. The rest were rude and unreasonable. The last one I had sent me kind of a mean message.
Their therapist just changed throughout the year, and they don't even know who they were talking to anymore. Now, I can't vouch that these reviews are legit.
True. I would like to see some evidence or receipts for these people.
Obviously, they're anonymous reviews, but if you want to do that argument, neither of the good reviews are legit either. If you go to BetterHelp's own website, their testimonies, they are filled with testimonies. Most of them starting off with text saying Joel was excellent, referring to their therapist. Alex has been so helpful. She is very understanding, referring to their therapist. Jerry is empathetic. Well, you scroll down and you find this guy.
Julian says that BetterHelp.com is a reliable online platform to receive therapy. It can be easier and safer to communicate with a licensed psychologist from home than at an office. A therapist of theirs, Lauren McCoy, is attentive and does ask the right questions. You needn't.
I guess if you're going to use this service, just make sure you're talking to these specific therapists instead of... Although I guess they match one with you, so it might not even be up to you, right? That's another problem there.
Stay alone.
Jesus. You needn't stay alone. And notice...
Would you say the word of the PewDiePie Gamer Bridge? You never know what's going to happen when you get frustrated while gaming.
How he says, Julian says.
Julian says that BetterHelp...
Who's Julian? His therapist is Lauren. Is he Julian? Is he referring to himself? Is he reading the script so badly? What is this site? What is going on here? The cherry on the top here is that in their terms of service, they can share your data. And anything talking about mental health related, that's really not a problem if that's public information, right? I mean, the whole idea of having online therapy with an online footprint is just a bad idea in general. Why is my accent so wrong? Now, this is some of the reason that I found out that BetterHelp is not what they are saying it is. There's a lot of more information and a lot of more crazy things that I don't want to bring up, but there's a lot of suspicious activity, to say the least. For me, where this whole thing gets the most messed up is the marketing. When I first heard about BetterHelp, I was immediately skeptical because I've been approached by a similar app a year ago, and a very few selected people told me, Felix, this app is not what they are saying it is. Luckily, the app didn't cost any money, and luckily, I didn't take the money for the promo. For some reason, I recognized that it was a bad idea taking money for a mental health issue, and how so many YouTubers fail to recognize this, it's just beyond me. Well, maybe it shouldn't be. There's over 100 YouTubers who have promoted BetterHelp, but the most concerning thing about this is not that they're getting paid to promote it. I think that's fine, but they are paid per person that signs up to BetterHelp. And not just a little money either. It's been confirmed that YouTubers have been paid $200 per person that they get to sign up.
That's a lot. Interesting. Well, if that's the case, what is the recent update? Because I started the Sensitive Society video not even understanding what the prior stuff was. So now that I know the prior issues and ethical concerns around BetterHelp, which I would basically agree with, the concerns. What is the new stuff the Sensitive Society is going to bring up?
Money as much as the next guy, but putting people over profits in this way, the way the company is doing it and violating their rights and their own TOS is disgusting to me.
The co-founder of BetterHelp assured me they would never do anything as crazy as secretly sell private mental health data from their users. We called it a far-fetched conspiracy and a gross violation of federal laws, state laws, HIPAA regulations, and their own terms and privacy.
And then they got fined $8 million base.
Which is why they were fined $7.8 million by the FTC last year for doing exactly that. Yeah, so the FTC proved that they have been sharing private mental health data of their users, as well as their IP addresses, email address, with companies like Facebook and Snapchat. This mental health data included answers to very personal questions such as sexual orientation, specific reasons for wanting therapy, possible eating disorders, and so much more.
This is so gross, and I already knew this going.
Wait, what is that disclaimer? I cannot verify.
Orientation, specific reasons for wanting therapy, possible eating disorders, and so.
Can I verify if all these questions and answers were shared with third parties? Well, why even put that in there, though? Because you just said that they were all shared, and then you're saying you can't verify it. I don't think this notice from Sensitive Society. This is from the original video, right? Soggy cereal.
Hey, my
if you can't verify it, why even put it in? You need better help, client side.
So much more.
This is so gross, and I already knew this going in, and I still can't believe they genuinely did this. The people are trusting you with this information, very intimate information.
Wait, but if you're gonna make that allegation, why not verify it? Like, if you're gonna put it in there, I feel like you need to verify it. Who is this girl, man? Get the girl out. No more girls. Only boys.
And so many more. BetterHelp is a 24/7 online therapy service. They promise easily accessible therapy with licensed therapists for an arguably cheap price.
I feel like it's a pretty easy gotcha. Why the need for the sensationalism, and then also the disclaimer of like also the disclaimer of like, well, I actually can't verify any of this, so I'm just gonna leave it in. Like, just take that part out.
And the reason why these companies such as Snapchat, Facebook, and others want your information is so you can start seeing ads that match what you're saying. You know what I mean? So if you say, you know, I'm a straight person and I'm here for X reason, right? Let's just take with a straight person that you choose when you log in, when you sign up to BetterHelp. It's all for advertisements. They're gonna be like, okay, let's not market LGBTQ plus to this guy because he's straight. What's the point of it? I'm trying to simplify this as much as I possibly can. The reason why they collect your data is so they could start showing up on your IG or your Facebook. If you still use Facebook in 2024, if you do, please delete that. That's the reason why they won the data. That's the reason why they're being sued, and they lost $7.8 million because they were giving the data that you gave BetterHelp. They were selling them, and every website does this. But a therapy website should never do this. This is what kills companies like these. It could have been a legit service that I and millions of people could have used, but now this is confirmed. These are not rumors. They genuinely just sell your data, and on top of that, their email address and their IP address so you can market to their specific location. It blows my mind. They could advertise that's around your area, so you're most likely to buy. It's disgusting. And once again, I'm all about that bag. I love money, okay? My whole thing is, as long as you're making money and you're not hurting anyone else, go crazy, right? No real therapist would ever do this. And if a therapist ever shares exclusive information or super intimate, they could get fired. If BetterHelp has helped you, that's great. I'm glad. That's awesome. But you also gotta be aware doing some very shady stuff to something as important as mental health, and it just pisses me off.
Of course, when they were asking those questions of their users, they ensured them that they wouldn't be sharing this at all. Except with their therapist, of course. Yeah. Oh boy, can't wait what ads Facebook is gonna show me now that they think I'm an anxious, unemployed, widowed bisexual experiencing eating disorders and daddy issues. An ad for BetterHelp? Oh man! And those are just the lies they were caught on so far. And I mean, they've been lying about these ones for years.
When a news site revealed in February 2020 that BetterHelp was sharing users' health data with third parties, people complained to the company. As one person put it, "I've not given any consent to share my information with anyone, especially ads targeting my mental health weakness." How did BetterHelp respond? The FTC says the company doubled down on deception by falsely denying it had shared consumers' personal info, including their health information, with third parties. I feel like $8 million is kind of a low fine for that, right? I feel like it's kind of low. I feel like it probably should have been fined $50 million, $100 million. Who knows? Put them out of business or something for that one.
But you know, poor startup multi-billion-dollar company can't apologize for their actions. It's not their fault that they try to abuse goodwill of their users for personal corporate gain.
They got fined $7 million, but
Why even why put allegedly there when you don't need to when they did do that, and then why put the other qualifier when you couldn't prove that other allegation? I don't understand. This guy, Soggy Cereal being a silly Billy.
that's nothing to them when they have hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions of people using their services. It's like 7 million to them. It's nothing to this huge corporation when they're making hundreds of millions. I think a way to rival real therapy would probably be like lowering the prices and stop selling data of the people who are trying to get help for whatever issues they might have. Another thing that pissed me off was this goofy chart that says BetterHelp versus traditional in-office therapy. And then I hate all of these check marks and all of these X's.
Probably seen enough from that. Yeah, I don't know. YouTubers probably shouldn't take a sponsorship from BetterHelp. They seem like a pretty shady company. And I say now I know that. Now I know that, and I've learned it, and I learned it with you guys. Which in the beginning I didn't know. I remember the controversy, but I didn't remember what exactly it was about. So now I'm glad I know. Now we learned. Holy learning. This is an educational stream, ladies and gentlemen. My favorite Tom line, in fairness. Do I say that a lot? I might say that a lot. People should start reading terms of service before clicking accept. There's no way I'm going to do that. Dude, this terms of service is like 80 pages long. I'm sorry. I'm a normal person. You think I read books? What am I, gay? You think I'm going to read the terms of service? What am I, a murderer? Every pyrocynical incident? I'm going to put that on not interested. Damn. Well, people probably deserve to get called out for sponsoring BetterHelp then, but I don't know why his ex-girlfriend of all people is doing that in regards to Ted Nevison. She seems like a salty, spiteful, bitter ex. I don't really need to hear from her, but you know what? If YouTuber wants to call her out, paste. He's gonna beef with you again? Yeah. You think BetterHelp will be ruined after this whole situation? Probably not. They didn't get ruined last time, and the controversy was way bigger, bro. Do you know how many videos were made about BetterHelp in like 2019 or 18? 6 million views. These are all recent videos. This one, by the right opinion, has almost 1 million views 5 years ago. This is before Tro was really big either. Dr. Todd Grande. What I learned about the conversation from the CEO of BetterHelp.
Welcome to my scientifically informed insider look at mental health topics. If you find this video to be interesting or helpful, please like it and subscribe to my channel. Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today I'll be answering a number of questions concerning a company called BetterHelp. We see that on YouTube recently there's been a lot of drama, specifically.
You get the annoying static noise out of your audio, bro.
Around this platform.
How many views? Yeah, 6 million. It does seem a little high. It's a lot of views. 6.3. Jeez, getting up there.
Platform that connects mental health providers, mental health clinicians, with clients. There have been a number of questions, and I'll go over these separately, but to give you an example.
I like the guy. This guy is pretty cool. I've seen a bunch of his videos that explain complex psychological disorders in 20 minutes or so that have been pretty useful for me. I've enjoyed the videos.
Some of the questions we see this claim that BetterHelp is a scam. I'll be talking about that. Claims that BetterHelp is not effective. Claims that the clinicians aren't qualified, and a few others. So a variety of claims we've seen on YouTube channels and other social media, and I'll be discussing these in detail. Now,
to be clear, this is before this guy blew up. This is an old video because he used to be not that big, but we see now his views are much better, and he's made some pretty good videos that I've enjoyed quite a bit. 11 signs a child might be a psychopath. Chris Watts, psychopathy, narcissism, rage, infidelity, and murder. 10 ways to manipulate a narcissist, keeping the peace with a narcissist. David Icke, coronavirus conspiracy theory. Jordan Peterson critique, philosophical genius.
Now, to start with, I want to no financial or business relationship with BetterHelp. I'm not one of their clinicians. My channel is not sponsored by BetterHelp. I spoke to the CEO, Alan Matas, to prepare for this video. And there were a few emails before that just to line up that.
No wonder it had 26,000 views. The audio is horrible.
Conversation. But other than that, I don't know anybody at BetterHelp.
If BetterHelp was canceled, I would see ads for them every other video. True.
For those that watch my channel regularly, you know that this channel is about scientifically informed content about mental health. And I don't offer anything but my reasonable interpretation of evidence and sometimes my opinion. So for example, I don't engage in personal attacks on people, including other YouTube content creators. Also, given the nature of this particular video, I want to mention that if you search my name on Google, for example.
When I see YouTubers do the BetterHelp promotion, I always think to myself, at least they're getting some money, and I know better than not to use it, but I'm not sure there's a lot of people that don't know. Yeah, I think I got an offer from them, and I think it was pretty good, but I think I turned it down at some point. Actually, I know I turned it down. Yeah. I mean, even outside of the clear ethical problems, it just seems like a scandal I don't need to deal with, you know?
You'll see that I'm the current president of the Delaware Board of Mental Health and Chemical Dependency Professionals, but I'm not operating in that capacity.
Hey, don't care who you are.
So to answer all these questions and concerns, and to add something meaningful to the discussion, I reached out to Alan Matas. He's the CEO of BetterHelp. He agreed to talk to me, which I thought was very generous, and we had a conversation that lasted about 90 minutes. I also looked at their website. I looked at a number of other websites related to this issue. I consulted the research literature and talked to some other people that were familiar with BetterHelp. They had experience with the service. So there's a lot of information to present here, and there's different strategies, of course, for organizing information like this. But I decided to organize this in terms of the concerns. So I'm going to go through each of the concerns individually. And some of them, of course, have some overlap, but there are pros and cons to any way you organize information. So I thought this made sense for this type of video. So first, the concern of the YouTube drama. And this specifically refers to what's been referred to as the BetterHelp scam. These accusations or claims that BetterHelp is a scam and not a legitimate business that's here to help people. So this all started because BetterHelp sponsors some YouTube channels, which is a fairly normal activity for a company like BetterHelp. A feud broke out between originally 2 YouTube content creators, and then BetterHelp was dragged into this, and then other content creators started making videos about this topic, but they offered little in the way of new evidence. I refer to this as chasing the trend, and this is fairly common on YouTube. I don't really have a problem with people chasing trends, but I worry about when they chase these trends and don't have anything meaningful or interesting to add to the discussion. And that's what seems to have happened here. So we see that a lot of information in these videos was presented as factual, but there's not a lot of evidence to back this up. Now, under this concern of the BetterHelp scam question, one of the main issues was about the terms and conditions we see on the BetterHelp website. Specifically, a reference that's now been eliminated that indicated that BetterHelp was not responsible for verifying licenses. Also, there were some other passages that were singled out because of poor grammar, because they weren't clear, and because they seemed to be repetitive. So this is certainly poor wording. I read the terms and conditions both before and after the change, and I think it's a good point. If we think about terms and conditions, we would expect economy of expression and clarity, and really we don't see either one of those in these terms and conditions. Now, I talked to Mr. Matas about this terms and conditions issue, and they are working to improve the terms and conditions, and they took out that piece that bothered people, that piece that was featured in those videos. They're trying to rewrite them so they're more friendly, and they're really
Well, if that part about the terms and conditions about how they don't verify therapists and it's your responsibility is true, then it doesn't really matter whether they take it out or not, unless they're going to improve the review process for these clinicians and actually strengthen, you know, make it much more rigorous, right? I don't really want them to take that out if they're going to like lie about it, or unless they're going to change things around, right? Tom, the type of guy to deny the haircut allegations. I feel like I can't really deny it at this point. I feel like it's kind of through and through.
looking at every clause. He also noted that because they made the effort to change the wording that was attracting attention, it almost made them look guilty, like they had something to hide. Now, really, when we think about terms and conditions, I compared their terms and conditions to many other...
I already know about this. I'm curious what this guy thinks about text therapy.
Indicated. The next issue is the issue of text therapy. And we see a lot of different concerns around this. We see claims that it's illegal, that it's unethical, and that's ineffective. So these words can get thrown about kind of loosely. It's important to understand that anything can be illegal, unethical, or ineffective in the inappropriate context. For example, somebody could say that surgery is illegal, unethical, and ineffective.
How much for a tummy shot? I don't know. We're setting the new shirtless standard is going to be $200, okay? We can't do it for $100 anymore. We're not a slut. Okay, that's the new requirement.
And they would be right if it's conducted by somebody who isn't a licensed and qualified surgeon. So can text therapy be all those things? It can be, but it's not illegal and it's not unethical when it's delivered by a licensed and qualified mental health clinician. Now, in terms of the ineffective claim, there are really mixed results here. We see some evidence that it can be effective, and we see some evidence that there may be some difficulties with it.
I assume what he's going to say now is that therapy in general can be ineffective. Who's the artist who drew your icon? I can't remember their name.
But really, with this piece, we need more information. We really don't know.
It's probably in my channel info.
About the effectiveness thoroughly, like we do about traditional face-to-face therapy. I brought this point up to Mr. Matas, and this was one of my primary concerns, one of the reasons I really wanted to talk to him. And he indicated something that actually surprised me. With BetterHelp, there is no option for just text therapy.
I wouldn't be alive right now if it weren't for BetterHelp. Nobody else would take me. Interesting. You want to expand on that, Aaron?
Offer and prefer.
Does anyone in chat? Can anyone in chat enlighten me as to does anybody in chat use BetterHelp? Can you talk about your experience with it with me? I'd be really curious to talk to somebody who's actually used it. It'd be good to get a positive and a negative experience so I could get a real view of what's going on here.
The clients use text amplified therapy. So they use the text therapy if they want to, but they also use the video conferencing, the online component. So I found this somewhat reassuring. And again, I have my doubts about text therapy, but I found this to be reasonable. One thing in particular that Mr. Matas indicated about this I found to be interesting was that BetterHelp, in a good way, is actually the least innovative platform. They're there for convenience, and they're not trying to reinvent therapy. We see other attempts being made at some other places to use AI, machine learning, and to really rely on peer support. And all those are certainly interesting, but more controversial than traditional therapy. So we have a mix here of technology with the online component and traditional therapy. Now, given all this, I still have my concerns. My primary concern is that text therapy doesn't run too far ahead of what we know from science. But it does take somebody, like Betterhelp or some other companies, to try text therapy. Researchers aren't going to found companies to test out this modality. Somebody has to try this, and then researchers have to jump in and study it. And Mr. Matas was clear that he supports research on text therapy and on online therapy in general. So what can we learn from all this YouTube drama and all of these different claims? Well, other than some poor work.
Guaranteed the therapists are just telling these people either basic things to make you feel better or tell you what you want to hear, since people aren't real therapists. I mean, some of them are, but some of them aren't. So if it's a real therapist and they're a licensed clinician, I imagine they're probably going to do a good job and probably have some sort of ethical imperative, right? They're probably going to feel that to actually do a good job and give people good advice, which, I mean, generally I think it can be pretty good, but it's probably pretty hit or miss as well. Like, there are probably, when you get someone who's unlicensed, if you end up getting that, then in that case, it's probably pretty bad. It's probably pretty
wording on the terms and conditions, and a few other minor things. None of the negative claims against Betterhelp seem to be founded in any evidence. And I think this actually speaks more clearly about the nature of social media as opposed to anything about Betterhelp. Social media right now seems to be like the Wild West. How we get and process information is changing.
Nobody local would accept patients without insurance. None of the other online services would take me because I was too high risk of algorithming myself. Jesus. Take care of yourself, buddy.
Rapidly, responsible behavior and critical thinking don't seem to be keeping pace with how much growth.
They're the second largest spenders on podcast advertisements behind only Amazon, I think. Is that real? Biggest podcast sponsor companies. Top 30 podcast sponsors. Number 1 is BetterHelp. Number 2 is Shopify. Holy okay. So they're actually the biggest right now.
At any time. BetterHelp, you can. In office, you can't. Wages cap, phone sessions, video sessions, easy scheduling, blah, 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 blah. You get the point. And here,
my therapist has been fantastic. She's given me the tools I need to deal with my past and my lifelong depression. Well, hey, there you go. That's a positive experience. I guess it'd probably be better if they were to update all their terms of service, update their process for being rigorous with these people, and then also it'd probably be good if they rebranded so they don't have all this past. Any other questions, Tom? Just ask. I guess I'd like to talk over the phone, but one of the question would be, how did you verify your therapist? Did you do it yourself, or did they do it and you just trusted it? Or like, how did the verification process go for whether or not you should trust your therapist, Brandon?
Just because a video or a post or whatever has a lot of views doesn't mean it's true. We know that if somebody's seeking views, there's a real incentive there for drama. And these large YouTube content creators run multi-million-dollar companies. They're competitive, they're sharp, and they really know how to get people to click on their videos. It's a high-stakes game. Largely, there's no disincentive for inaccurate information or for drawing conclusions not supported by the evidence. So think about this from a perspective of somebody serving on a jury. If you were an engineer and you were accused of using bad calculations to design a bridge, maybe that bridge collapsed or failed, would you want somebody on the jury that would take into account that you failed a third-grade math test? That's what's really happened here. We see small bits of evidence being magnified into conclusions that simply can't be supported. This isn't science, and really, I don't even think it's good entertainment, but it's out there, and we have to be aware of what's going on with YouTube.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, a lot of the times YouTubers, especially commentary channels, will sensationalize stuff and blow things out of proportion. In this case, it seems like there were some valid concerns against BetterHelp, but maybe it went a little far in some of the criticisms, but overall, the concerns that were valid, and I think they deserve to be criticized from what I've seen. Especially when you're dealing with something like mental health, you need to make sure all of your is completely airtight. And be sure to become a member. For $5 a month, they get the members-only podcasts and exclusive videos that only members get. Thanks so much for your support.
Price for